What's up, guys? My name is Brandon Ball. Welcome back to another Marketing Monday. So every Monday I come on here and I give you a little insight into the trends that are happening in the marketing world. You know, trends, apps, how customers are searching, or updates in this. So it's just kind of my way of informing you guys on things that are happening in the marketing world. So if you haven't already, like this video, subscribe to the channel. Like I said, every Monday I will be putting out a new video. And when you subscribe, if you hit the little bell, it will automatically notify you that I've released a new video. So with that, let's get started. Today we're talking about where you should communicate with your customers or your potential customers. So I'm gonna focus on two main things. Obviously Google. If you're not focusing on Google some way in your marketing strategy, you pretty much have no chance. Google's the giant in all things search engines. So definitely you're gonna focus on Google a little bit. And then we're also gonna focus on Facebook and Facebook Messenger, because that is a big spot for a lot of, especially small businesses with billions of users and messages sent every month. We're gonna focus on that as well. So to get right into it, first of all, ask where you should be to contact or to be in contact with your consumers. It's gonna be wherever they are. That's obviously the easy answer. If your clientele are finding you through Instagram, you better make sure that you're on Instagram to reply to their messages and their questions. If they're finding you through Facebook, obviously be there. Obviously the two main ones are gonna be Google and Facebook, unless you have a niche like Instagram that generates yours, or Twitter that generates yours, or whatever the case is. But so Google, actually I'm gonna talk about two things within Google. First of all, the Google messaging app, or the little tab on the Google My Business page, which if you get on your phone and you open up Maps and you search food near me or insurance near me or something like that, it has to be on Maps. Then there's a little messaging box where it says, click to go to their website, click for directions. There's one that says messaging, and you can actually send them a text message. The downside to that is, as a business owner, if I get a message, I get a little notification that I have a message, and then it goes away. I have to get into the app on my phone, and then I have to get into the messaging side and look. It never tells me that there's one there outside of the very first notification. It's really inconvenient. So if you choose to use this avenue, you need to make sure you're constantly looking at that. But it is something like Google released this back in 2016 and has put a lot of time and a lot of effort into making sure it stays being used. So it's gonna be, at first I thought it was just gonna kind of go away. And it was going to be a fluke, and they were just beta testing it, and now it's going to go away. But it looks like it's going to be around for the long haul. So I would get used to being in getting into a groove and into a pattern of checking that pretty regularly. I'd also look at maybe setting up an Autobot to reply when you get a message in that says, thanks for messaging us. I'm out in the field, or I'm with a client, or whatever. If I don't message you back within the next 2 hours, the next 24 hours, or whatever the case is for you, then call me at this number and just put your business number down. That would be my recommendation, so that your customers at least get something back, so they know that, okay, this is a channel that I can communicate through. I just now have to wait on them to do that. So like I said, not a great notification setup, but there are ways to kind of manipulate that, and as long as you're constantly checking it, you should be fine there. So the second thing I want to talk about within Google is the frequently asked questions section. So Google actually took this away when COVID hit. They were getting they were getting bombarded with COVID questions. So they actually took the frequently asked questions away. And within the last month, they have now brought it back. So if let's say I'm a garage door company, and one of my frequently asked questions is, what happens if my door doesn't open? What are some things, troubleshooting questions about why my door isn't opening? Well, if your door's not opening, it could just be, you've got dust collecting up in the little sensors. So dust the little sensors off, And if I build out my frequently asked questions like this, Google's gonna see me as an expert in that field. So now whenever someone searches anything garage door related or a question like that, I have these frequently asked questions built in. They're gonna actually take that question and put it up as the answer for the customer or for the person that is searching that question. Well, that's just another way that they're gonna find my business, because they're gonna click on the question, read the answer, and therefore it's gonna bring them to my Google page. And then hopefully, my Google page is good enough that they're gonna go to my website, or they're gonna call me and they're gonna order with me. Or they're gonna have me come out and do an estimate. After they dust the sensors, if that doesn't solve the problem, they're gonna call me. So that's kind of the idea behind the frequently asked questions. It's not a direct contact with a consumer or a potential customer, but it's an avenue that a lot of people will utilize to get customers and to kind of get in front of them. So that's a great one. Like I said, over 1 billion questions daily are asked on Google. It could be about anything, but if you're not taking advantage of the frequently asked questions section, you should be. That's something I do for all of my clients when I'm building out their Google page, or when I'm maintaining their Google page. Every month I'm adding some frequently asked questions to their page, because it is so vital to get in front of customers. So, okay, so next we're gonna talk about Facebook messaging. I'm sure most of you watching this are familiar with the Facebook messaging app. There's 1.3 billion users every single month. That's a billion with a B, every month using the Facebook Messenger app. And there's over 10 billion messages sent every month between consumers and businesses. So 10 billion messages are sent between, someone like me who owns a small business and people that are asking me questions. I know when my last video went live last Monday, if you haven't watched that one, go check that out. It's a pretty good one on how to stay up in this digital world, how to stay on top of it. So if you haven't watched that, go back and watch that one. But when I released that last Monday, I had a couple people use the Facebook Messenger app because they watched it on Facebook, and they messaged me with questions. And that's what it is. 10 billion people do that every single month. So it's a huge thing. If you're not on those two platforms, I would recommend getting on those two platforms. And then of course, if you have any questions on any of the other platforms, WhatsApp, Instagram, Twitter, any of your social media type stuff like that, you can always reach out to me. I will put my email in the description below. It's perpetualmotionenterprises@gmail.com. So it's kind of long, but like I said, I'll just put it in the description so you can just copy and paste it if you have any questions. But other than that, you can always reach out to me. We are still taking clients for the Google My Business. If you are interested in that, like I said, it's one of those things where I maintain pages every single month. I take and optimize pages every single month. So if you're somebody that you say, look, I need to be on Google, but I'm not, but I don't know how and I don't want to mess with it, you can always reach out to me and we can figure out what that looks like. So until next Monday, thank you guys for watching. And like I said, if you haven't, like this video and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys next week.